We now leave the west coast of the United States of America and go across America, across the pond, to our friends in the United Kingdom for the 77th annual BAFTA Awards taking place this Sunday, February 18th. And yes, that is right, people. The BAFTAs are the next major award show prior to the Oscars. 3 more award shows after that, and then comes in the big one. So, it is that time again to predict another award show. And before we begin with my predictions, I just want to mention for those that are going to watch the show, if you live in the UK, you will able to get to see the show live either on BBC One or iPlayer. But if you live in the United States, it will be on BritBox International with your host being none other than the 10th Doctor of Doctor Who, David Tennant. Yes, that's right. He will be hosting the ceremony. Oppenheimer leads with the most nominations with 13, the same as the Oscars. And on the Oscars, where they do their special awards months prior to the ceremony, the 2 special awards they'll be giving at the ceremony, the Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema will be given to June Giovanni, and the BAFTA Fellowship will be going to actress Samantha Morton. So now we're going to be predicting all categories, from the public award to the 2 shorts to the technical categories to the featured film categories, all the way up to the Big 8. Starting up is the Rising Star Award, which is usually voted by for the public. The one that makes the most sense of the nominations is Iowa Deborah. Yeah, I know she is on the television side with The Bear, but if you look at her filmography, she appeared in 5 movies this last year. Theater Camp, Bottoms, The Sweet East, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So, what a year she has had. Jacob Elordi is nominated for Supporting Actor for Saltburn, so there is a possibility. Some people who follow Raka Raka with their film Talk to Me might give it to Sophia Wilde. But I think since if we're going more in the British skew, the 2 we're looking at are Phoebe Dynora, or the one I'm going to go with because her movie did so well did so well in the other categories, Mia McKenna Bruce, who's the star in How to Have Sex. Best British Short Film, there's no answer here because there are no Oscar nominees, so I'm just going to say, just because of the title, Yellow. Best British Animated Short, since it was close to getting an Oscar nomination since it was on the short list, Wild Summon. Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Now, although it didn't win Critics' Choice, I think because they were all on Barbie, I think the industry is going to start on the Maestro train here for the makeup and hair category. For costume design and production design, Barbie makes the most sense, but I think kind of how Barbie makes more sense for the American awards, the British are going to go in kind of the similar ways they did with Yorgos' previous film, The Favourite, and give both costume design and production design to Poor Things. Original score, I think this is definitely going to be an Oppenheimer win, so that's no question about that. For sound, I know Oppenheimer makes the most sense, but if they want to give this film something, I think it would be here, and I think this, because I could actually see it winning the Oscar, they really want to not give Oppenheimer everything, I'm going to go with this curveball and say the Zone of Interest here. Visual effects, now, the Oscars are going to be a little bit confusing on who is the clear frontrunner. Even whoever wins a BAFTA is not going to help, although 4 out of the 5 nominees are in here, with the exception of Godzilla -1. And since the Oscars go with the more Best Picture movie, the BAFTAs do go with more Best Visual Movie, and that's why I'm going to say the easy go-to choice that everyone pretty much know it was going to get nominated regardless, The Creator. The Best Casting Award, which has now been the new category that will be introduced to the Oscars for the films of 2025. I'm going to say because of how many indigenous actors and actresses they had to get for this movie, I'm going to say Killers of the Flower Moon. And then we're going to go to film editing and cinematography, back-to-back scenario, Oppenheimer. I think that's pretty much an easy go-to choice, although I could see Anatomy of a Fall might try to slim up a bit and win for film editing. Debut by a British writer, director, producer. Other than Mia McKenna-Bruce winning the EE Rising Star Award, Molly Manning Walker for her debut as a British writer and director for her film How to Have Sex win for this category. For the featured film categories, 20 Days in Mariupol is most likely going to win the Best Documentary Feature one, although, yeah, you do have American Symphony, Beyond Utopia, and still a Michael J. Fox movie, but 20 Days in Mariupol is the only Oscar nominee in this lineup here. Film not in the English language, that's easily Anatomy of a Fall. You would have said The Zone of Interest, but Anatomy of a Fall is in Best Picture. Best Animated Feature, I know it makes sense to go with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse because it does have an additional nomination, but I think since he has never won a BAFTA, even when the animated category was not created, although he was nominated for Film Not in the English Language for Spirited Away, I'm going to say they're going to give Miyazaki his first BAFTA with The Boy and the Heroine. Outstanding British Film, Poor Things, that's a no-brainer, that's in Best Picture, so that's pretty easy. On to the big eight. So, adapted screenplay is pretty up in the eyes of the moment here. Now, Barbie is not here. It's an original, so it's not going to help us over here. And so, obviously, the 2v2 here are Oppenheimer and Poor Things, because American Fiction won Critics' Choice, but this is the film's only nomination. So, it is obviously between Nolan and McNamara. Now, obviously, McNamara actually had won previously in the original side for The Favorite. So, are they going to go all in on Oppenheimer, or are they going to try to give Poor Things something? And I think I'm going to say if there's any place Poor Things might win in the Big Eight, I'm going to say here for adapted screenplay. Original screenplay, I know Barbie is here, but Anatomy of a Fall and The Holdovers are the two battling out for here and for the Oscar. And I think since it is more of a stronger Oscar frontrunner status, I think it's going to give it to Anatomy of a Fall. So Justin Triade's going to have a really good night. Supporting actress, I know Da'Vine Joy Randolph makes the most sense, but as we've seen, there is always that one acting win, or two sometimes if you look at last year, that they more go with the big British skew person. And I feel like Emily Blunt makes the most sense here, and I think everyone's following the same thing, I'm guessing, that if there is one place Randolph's most likely going to lose is the BAFTA to Emily Blunt. Supporting actor, even if Gosling's still open to try to win the Oscar, if he wins SAG, I think Downey would easily get this BAFTA regardless for this one. Actress, now, obviously Lily Gladstone's not here, and Emma Stone is kind of like our top front runner, but I'm going to make something interesting here, because since sometimes they have given these acting wins to non-English performances before, most recently I would say Emmanuel Riva winning for Amour, I think I'm going to throw a curveball here, and since she is double nominated, I'm going to get this to Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall to show there is a bit of a three-horse race. Actor, it is obviously between Paul Giamatti and Cillian Murphy, because since he's from Ireland, I think Cillian Murphy has this, so yeah, I have Oppenheimer winning all three of its acting categories. And speaking of Oppenheimer, director Christopher Nolan, that's lock, and Best Picture. I know it kind of is a bit of a question mark, because in recent years, if you basically win the Best Picture film at the BAFTAs, you basically are considered the runner-up. That's why kind of All Quiet on the Western Front showed us, especially how many Oscar wins it got. So maybe if Anatomy of a Fall wins, then that can show us that that is the runner-up. And it could make sense since I haven't given an acting win and a screenplay win. But I think I'm going to still stick with the safe bet with Oppenheimer, and I don't think they have never awarded a Nolan film for Best Picture yet. So that is basically it for this award show, my friends. Next weekend will be the last three major award shows prior to the BAFTAs, with the Screen Actors Guild, the Independent Spirits, and the Producers Guild.